Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so we welcome everyone for the second session of our 6 months course. Yeah, today we will give you overview of the entire Mahabharata, and we'll start with the chapter 1. Okay, so let's start with the prayers. Swara, you can recite the prayers.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाजलाशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदन्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणललित श्री सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यते देशतारिणि वाञ्छाकल्पतरूपिष्य कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्त्यावतारं भक्त्याकं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते चैतं शरतु पांगोर्ममामंद मतर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्बुजौ राधा मदन मोहनं दिव्यार्बृन्दारण्य कल्पतरुमादाव श्रीमद् रत्नाकर सिंहासनास्तव श्रीमद् राधा गोविंद देव प्रस्थालिभिः सेव्यमनाः स्मरामि श्रीमन्रसारसारम्भी पांसी वटतटस्थिता करसन्वेणुर् गोपीनाथाय श्रियस्तु नः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसाथी गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। So let us start. So today we are going to see the entire story of Mahabharata. Okay, so how does it start? So it starts with Shantanu. So Shantanu is a king. Okay, he is a very great king. Yeah, ruling, having a very big kingdom, a very pious king, and he was very religious king and very nice, just king. So once what happened is that this Shantanu, he was walking on the banks of Ganges. Yeah, and then he suddenly, he saw a beautiful lady walking on the banks of Ganges, and he was wondering who is this lady, and he fell in love with that lady, and he asked that lady that will you marry me? So then that lady said, yes, I can marry you, provided you will not stop me from doing anything. So he thought that this lady looks like a very pious lady. I mean, she wouldn't do anything wrong, and there wouldn't be any reason that why I will have to stop her. So no problem. She is very nice. She's very pious. Yeah. So I can marry her. So I can accept the condition. So he says, yes, okay, no problem. You uh, um, I accept your condition, and then they got married. Now what happened is after some time they have a son. They have a child. And this lady, she takes the child and she drowns the child in the water. And Shantanu, he sees, at first he was very happy that I have a child.
हिंदी में
Then,
एक बार
so then he drowns the child in the water. Yeah. Then they have a second child. And but Shantanu couldn't stop because there was a condition that
माताजी
he
हिंदी में
was
बोलो।
to stop. I just asked anyone who do not understand English. No one raised your hand. Okay, English and Hindi I'll do. So So no, please do not disturb me, because otherwise everyone in the class gets disturbed. Yeah, my humble request. I'll come to you, Divya. Yeah. So then, so then the second child was born, and second child also, she just takes the child and she drowns the child in the water. Now this Shantanu is horrified. What is this happening? The child is coming and she's just drowning the child in the water. She's the mother, but what is she doing? So for second child, third child, like that, seven children. She just, she just drowns them in the water. Now Shantanu says, this is too much. I cannot take this anymore. Yeah, I cannot have my children just, dying like this. So when the eighth child is born, he immediately, he just, and she's about to drown the eighth child in the water, he immediately rushes to her. And he says, what are you doing? Why are you doing like this? So then then she says that I am. So then she reveals her identity, and that time she says that I am Ganga. Yeah. So now that you stopped me, I will have to go. Yeah. And this child, you can take the child, you can grow the child, and I will have to go now. So then Shantanu stops her, but then she said, no, I have to go. Then Shantanu says that see, you are going to heaven. Heaven, all the saintly saintly people are there. Why don't you take the child there? And you can train him in religious practices. You can train him in worships. You can train him in being a nice, great warrior and all. So you can take him, and when his best is ready, you can bring him back. So then Mother Ganga agrees, and she takes him to the heavenly planets. Once again, when Shantanu is strolling on the river Ganges, he suddenly sees that the entire flow of the river is suddenly stopped. The water is not flowing at all. And he is wondering that how come the entire flow is stopped? Yeah. So then he realizes, he sees, young, handsome man, yeah, boy. He's with his, arrows. He stopped the entire water. Then he's thinking, who is this boy? And then, Mother Ganga appears there. And she says, he is your son, Devvrat. And they name him Devvrat. He is your son, Devvrat. And then, then he becomes so happy. Wow, my son is now, become so big, and, he's become so capable that I can, that now he can handle. He's become such a nice and, strong warrior. So he becomes very happy. And then he declares that my son Devrat is going to become the king of this, of my kingdom. So he's going to become the future king. Yeah. Eventually, so all things are going well, everything is happening fine. And then later on, this this Shantanu, he falls in love with a daughter of a fisherman, and then her name is Satyavati. So she Satyavati says that I will marry you provided you make my son as the king. So now this Shantanu says, no, but I've already announced that Devrat will be the king. So she said, no, then I will marry you. If you promise me that my child will become the king, then only I will marry you. So then she says that, Gayatri, you will have to please be on mute, Dibya. Yeah, yeah. So then what happens is, then he becomes very morose, he becomes very sad. And then, Devbrat, he realizes that, uh, my father is very sad. Then he says that he asks his father, what happened? Then this father tells him that, I actually want to marry Satyavati, but she has put this condition, and I do not want that condition to come up. But then Bhishma says, what is the problem? Let him become the king. Yeah. I promise you that I will protect, I'll protect Hastinapur. Whenever there is a problem, yeah, I will protect Hastinapur. I take a vow that my entire life I will stay a brahmachari, and I will protect I will be with the king. Whoever is the king, I will be with the king. Yeah. So he takes that vow. And that is why, because he takes such a vow, his name is called Bhishma. Okay. So Bhishma Dev. Yeah. Because he takes a very terrible vow that, what is this happening? One second. No? Yeah, sorry. So he takes this terrible vow. So then, Shantanu becomes a little happy and then he marries Satyavati. Now Satyavati had, she becomes a son and his name is Vichitravirya. Now Vichitravirya, he's being brought up as Satyavati and Shantanu and all that. And eventually Shantanu dies. And then now it's a time for Vichitravirya to get married. Yeah. So what Bhishma does is Bhishma, he goes to King of Kashi and he abducts his daughters. Yeah. He kidnaps his daughters. Yeah. And that is allowed in Kshatriyas. So he abducts his daughters, Ambika and Ambalika. Yeah. He brings them to marry this one Vichitraveer. But later on, he marries and all. But somehow later on, Vichitraveer, he gets diseased and he dies. Yeah? So he passes away. Now this Ambika and Ambalika, now there is no marriage. Yeah, so Ambika and Ambalika, now eventually, there is no heir to the throne because Bhishma Dev has taken a vow that he will never marry and he will protect the kingdom to whoever is the king. Now the king Vichitravirya has died. So then something needs to be done. So then Satyavati, Vyasa, sage Vyasa, she requests sage Vyasa. Vyasa is also her son. She requests sage Vyasa that if you can help, Ambika and Ambalika to have a child. Now this Vyasa is very horrible looking person. Okay, very horrible. He has this knotted hair and a big mustache and a big beard and very horrible looking person. Very scary look. Not horrible, very scary looking look he had. Yeah. So then, she tells Ambika and Ambalika that you please go one by one. You meet, Sage Vyasa, and so that you will have a child. Now, when Ambika goes there in his chambers, she becomes so scared that she immediately closes her eyes. She becomes very scared by her look, and she immediately closes her eyes. So then Sage Vyasa says that the child you will get, he will be blind. Now Satyavati gets very morose. What is this? Then she sends Ambalika. Yeah. So when she sends Ambalika, she tells Ambalika, see, don't close your eyes, okay? You have to look at him. So then she goes, and then Ambalika goes. Ambalika goes, she doesn't close her eyes, but she becomes so scared, she shivers a lot. And then Julia says, you will have a child who will be very weak, who will be an unhealthy child. Yeah. Now this Satyavati is now very, what is this? One child will be born blind, other will be unhealthy. How do we handle this? Yeah. So then Satyavati says, I will again send one of my daughter-in-law to Sage Vyas. So then they said, then now both of them are scared to go because such a scary looking person. Both of them are scared. So then they send their maid servant. Okay, उनकी जो दासी होती है उसको उसको अच्छे से ड्रेसअप करती है एज इफ अंबिका अंबालिका जैसे एकदम अच्छे से ड्रेसअप करती है एंड देन शी sends the maid servant to Sage Vyas. Now, now she is very confident, okay, because she is very mentally strong and also she is very confident. She just goes there, and then she comes back. And then then Vyasadev, this sage Vyas says that is this child which is going to be born will be a very intelligent child, yeah, will be very wise and will be very intelligent, and he will be an advisor to the government, and he'll be following all the religious principles, and he will be advising very wisely to the king based on the religious scriptures. Yeah. So now, then sage Vyas goes. Now the three sons. Yeah. So you see, Dhritarashtra was born, but he was born blind. Pandu was born, but Pandu was weak. And Vidura was a son of the maid servant who was very wise. Yeah? So these three were born. Now the kingdom had to be ruled by the king. Yeah. So who will become the king? Now the eldest was Dhritarashtra. But Dhritarashtra was blind, so he cannot rule the kingdom. So then next one was Pandu. So Pandu was ruling the kingdom. Now Dhritarashtra always had a desire that he wanted to rule the kingdom. Yeah. So he thought that just because I am blind, I cannot rule the kingdom. So he always had that grudge in his mind that I am not able to rule the kingdom. He always felt very sad. Yeah. So, but Bhishma said, a king cannot be blind. The king has to be, अंधे को कैसे king बनाए? So then Pandu had become a king. So Pandu ruled for a few years. But Pandu was not interested in this, king affairs and all. So eventually Pandu left the kingdom and he went to the forest. He said, Dhritarashtra, you can handle on behalf of me and I will go to the forest. So Pandu eventually, he marries to Queen Kunti. Like in Kunti say he doesn't get a child, so then he also marries Madri, but Pandu eventually doesn't have any children. And Dhritarashtra, he marries Gandhari. Yeah. And when Gandhari, she realizes that her husband cannot see, Gandhari puts a white cloth over her, covering her eyes, and her entire life she covered the white cloth over her eyes because her husband cannot see. So he said that if my husband cannot see, even I should not be able to see. So she puts a white cloth on her eyes. Yeah. So now there is no heir to the throne because Pandu doesn't have sons and Gandhari also doesn't have, Dhritarashtra also doesn't have sons. So, and Pandu was cursed that he will never have a child. Now, Kunti Maharani, before her marriage, she was also nice princess. And once upon a time, Durvasa Muni visited her. And Durvasa Muni is again very, very, very angry sage. Very angry sage. Something goes wrong. He will just left, right, center curse. Right? But Kunti, before her marriage, she served Durvasa Muni very nicely. And because she served Durvasa Muni very nicely, Durvasa Muni gave her a boon. Durvasa Muni said that whichever god you will call, that god, you chant this mantra and you will have a child. And then she was very happy that I will have a child from a demigod. So she was very happy. Durvasa Muni gives the mantra to her, and Durvasa Muni leaves. Now Kunti, she is also in her teens and all. Now she's very excited. Let me try this mantra. So then she calls for sun god and she tries this mantra. And when she tries this mantra, sun god immediately appears and sun god gives her a child. And now, when sun god gives her a child, she is very one second, she is very scared that sun god has now. What do I do with the child? I'm not even married. Yeah. So now, if someone sees with the child, what will they say? That I have a child. So she was very scared. Yeah. So then she thought she has to do something. So then she takes a basket, she puts the child in the basket, and she let the basket flow through the river. And this child eventually is this basket is received by some charioteer, and eventually this charioteer, then this child is Karna. Okay, so this was a little background. When
Mataji, he was born with a golden kavach.
yeah, he was born with a golden coach. So no talking in between. Please raise your hand. Yeah. So then what happened is that now Pandu was thinking that, Pandu was little sad that, he doesn't have children. So he discussed with Kunti that, I have been cursed that I will not have a child. So then Kunti, then she slowly disclosed him that, we can have a child. And she told about the boon that Durvasa Muni gave her. Then she told that, we can still have a child. Yeah. Then she asked him, what type of child you want? Then Pandu said, I want a child who will be very just, who will give justice to everyone, who will be a very pious king and a very religious king. So then she calls for, who is doing this? Please don't do this. So then she calls for Yamraj. Yeah. So then Yamraj appears and Yamraj hands over a child to them. And this child's name is Yudhishthir. But Pandu is still not happy. He says, I want one more child. One child will be like very strong. Yeah, he'll be very strong. He will be the strongest amongst all. Yeah, I want one more child. So then she calls for Vayudev. Yeah. Then she calls for Vayudev. And then Vayudev appears. And then Vayudev hands over them the child. And this child is Bhima. So let me go to the slide. Okay. This child is Bhima. And then Pandu says, I was found one more child. Then he says, I want a child who will be a great warrior. Yeah. So then Kunti calls for Indra. And then Indra gives him a child. And this child is Arjuna. So then now Kunti to got 3 children. Now Madri was thinking ki Kunti ko to bache ho gaye, but I do not have any child. So then Kunti then request Pandu that, please, if you can request Kunti Maharani to give me also the mantra, so I can also chant that mantra and I will also have a child. So then Kunti Maharani gives that mantra to her. She chants that mantra and she calls on Ashwini Kumaras. Then Ashwini Kumaras, through Ashwini Kumaras, the Ashwini Kumara hands over two children, yeah, twins, and their name is Nakul and Sahadev. So like this, Pandu has 5 sons, yeah, Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev. Yeah. Now all these children are nice devotees of Krishna. They are very nice, they're very pious, they are very obedient, they're very honest. Yeah, they will do everything which will please Krishna. They will not do anything which is not religious. Yeah, so very good children. Yeah. Now what happens is later on this uh, this Pandu, he meets an accident. Yeah, he meets an no, sorry, before that. So what happens is Gandhari at the same time, no, Gandhari at the same time she was also pregnant. And Gandhari then she realizes that अरे Yudhishthir का तो birth हो गया. So that means my child will not become the king. So Yudhishthir will not become the king. And now that she was pregnant, she got so upset that dhar करके she she did some brisk action, and in that a lump of flesh came out of her body. Now she thought that, okay, I had a miscarriage now. Whatever my child, that child is also not there now. So then she becomes very morose and she becomes very sad. And then Vyasadeva comes there. And Vyasadeva, what does Vyasadeva does it? He takes a lump of flesh, he divides the lump of flesh into 100 small pieces. He puts those flesh in different pots. And she said, I want a sister, a daughter also, and one more pot. So 101 pots were like that. Okay. So then she said, take good care of these pots. Okay. Then for months together, she took good care of these pots. And later on, a point in time, one pot, this pot started hatching. And the first pot, when the pot started hatching, there was all bad omens. Who started howling? Woo! There were dark clouds in the sky and all bad omens. सब कुछ गंदा गंदा ही हो रहा था. Yeah. So all inauspicious things were happening that point in time. And then, Vidura came there. Vidura said, this child is not going to be a auspicious child for our kingdom. We should abandon this child. This child is not good for us. Yeah. So then this one said, Gandhari and uh, Dhritarashtra said, no, how can we abandon this child? He's our first, he is our eldest son. We cannot abandon our eldest son. So then, there was a lot of discussion which went on, and Dhritarashtra was just not ready. Because this child, as soon as it came, everything bad started happening. But Dhritarashtra said, no, this is my eldest son, I will have it. And like that, slowly, all the, this 99 pots, they hatched, and she had, like this, Gandhari had 100 children, 100 children and one daughter, like that she had. Now, what happens is, later on in the forest, Pandu meets an ex. Aishwarya Gautam, I'll come to Aishwarya and Chetan, I'll come to you a little later, okay? So, Swara, I'll also come to you a little later. Let me finish the entire Mahabharata story. You can write the questions, I'll come to you, yeah? So later on, what happens is that Pandu meets an accident, and Pandu, in that accident, he dies. Yeah? He leaves his body. Now, now Kunti and then Madri, she joins Pandu in the sacrifice in the fire, and then she leaves the world. So Pandu and Madri are not there. Kunti is left with just her 5 sons, her small 5 sons in the forest. So Kunti decided she will go back to Hastinapur with Dhritarashtra. Now, meanwhile, Duryodhan was also going. So this eldest son name was Duryodhan. Remember the names, okay? His eldest son's name was Duryodhan. Now, Duryodhan was very pampered boy. Yeah, he thought that Pandavas are in the forest, their enemy is not gonna come. So he was very pampered boy. He was pampered like he will become the king. Okay. So बहुत बिगड़ा हुआ बेटा. I mean, he was very jealous. He was very selfish. And so what all bad qualities you can think of? All these bad qualities were there with this Duryodhan. So when Pandavas came back, when they came back to the uh, when they came back. Okay, okay. So when they came back to the kingdom, this Duryodhan was very jealous, very jealous. Yeah. So once what he did is they were always Duryodhan and Duryodhan and his brothers were always thinking, how can we harm Now they just wanted to, they just wanted to get rid of this Pandavas. Yeah. And especially Bhima. Because Bhima was the strongest amongst all. So they just wanted to get rid of Bhima. Once what happened is that they all, this Duryodhana and his brothers, with the help of his uncle Shakuni. Shakuni was a very, very crooked-minded uncle. Yeah, he always used to poison Duryodhana's brain. Yeah, his mind always used to poison his mind. And Shakuni, gave him an idea, and Duryodhana and his brothers, they took everyone to the Ganges. And there they made Bhima eat a poison cake. And Bhima, because and they such a poison cake that it was so grave poisonous that even, like they multiplied by 8. That times the poison this was strong. But Bhima ate it. Bhima felt unconscious. The Duryodhana and team, they tied this Bhima, and they put them in the water. When they put them in the water, there were a lot of snakes in the water. The snakes started biting Bhima. And then because when they started biting Bhima, all the poison which was there got nullified, neutralized with the venom of the snakes. Now the snakes king was Vasuki. Vasuki was also there. Vasuki realized Vasuki had a connection with Kunti Maharani. She said, oh, he's a son of Kunti. So immediately Vasuki, he saved him. And Vasuki gave him something, some kheer to drink. He said, you drink this kheer and you will have a strength of 10,000 elephants. Yeah, so it became like a boon in disguise. Wow. I mean, Bhima, Duryodhan gave him some poison to eat. And now with this, some incident happens. And now Bhima has a strength of 10,000 elephants. So again, and then Bhima comes back. And then the Duryodhana and everyone is wondering, we tried to kill him. And how come, he got saved? So like this, some of the other tricks they were doing. Yeah. Later on, what happens is they meet Dronacharya. So once they were playing in the fields, and then they meet that they were playing with a ball. That ball they fell in a well. And now they were all wondering, how do we remove this ball? And this Dronacharya was walking through through that place. And he was saying, wow, this all, prince, they're playing here and their ball is stuck there. So then the children, they go and tell Dronacharya, can you please help us, remove this ball? Dronacharya, what he does is, he takes blade of grass. Apna ghas hota hai na, he takes the blade of grass. He joins it, okay, with some mantras. He just joins the grass, different blades. He joins it back. He makes a big long string. He puts the string in the well and he chants some mantras and bring it out. And this was like a magic for the children. Wow, what is this? So wonderful. So then he said, we also want to learn that. Why you also want to learn this magic? So Dronacharya says, go and tell Bhishma that Dronacharya is here. Yeah. So then this child, then this Yudhishthir becomes very happy. He says, what do you want? Whatever you tell us, we will do for you. We will take care of you the entire life and all. Yeah. So then these children, they run to Bhishma and then they tell them that Dronacharya is there. Bhishma becomes so happy. Bhishma is the grandfather. Okay. So don't forget the names. Bhishma is the grandfather. So then he becomes so happy. And then Bhishma immediately comes and he meets Dronacharya and he says, this is what I was looking for. I was looking for teacher for all these children. And now if you teach them, they are in the right hands. So Dronacharya, he agrees to teach them. Yeah. So, and all these children, they learn under Dronacharya. And then, archery, sword fight, everything they learn under Dronacharya. Arjuna becomes an expert warrior under the guidance of Dronacharya. So this story everyone knows, right? That, once Arjuna was told to see what, everyone was told rather, to see what they can. So he tied an artificial bird here and he was on a branch of a tree. He asked everyone, what do you see? What do you see? They said, some said we see a tree, some said we see a branch, some said we see a bird. And when Arjuna's turn came, Arjuna said, I see a tree, and I see a branch of a tree, and a branch of a tree I see a bird, and on this bird I see the eye of the bird. Dronacharya becomes very happy. He said, hit the eye of the bird, and immediately Arjuna hits. So Arjuna, like this, very many, pastimes are there wherein, Arjuna shows his skill in the archery. Archery is bow and arrow. So like that, Dronacharya trains him well. Now, then later on, what happens is that everyone is now expert. Everyone is ready with their skill sets. Bhima learns this one Gada. Yeah? So he learns that. Nakul Sahadev, sword fight. So everyone learns different types of skills, and so everyone is now expert. Yeah. So now what happens is, so now these children also become big. Yeah. And the every day by day, the jealousy of the Duryodhana is only increasing, because what is happening is this Pandavas, they are very nice to everyone. They're very helpful to everyone. So they actually win the hearts of all the people. And Duryodhana is very jealous, very selfish. Yeah. So no one is liking Duryodhana, and all the citizens are liking Pandavas. So, that is only increasing jealousy in the minds of Duryodhan. So what to do? So once, he says, Duryodhan says that, I just want to, throw them out of this kingdom. So then everyone, Duryodhan and team with Shakuni Mama and Dhritarashtra and all, they formulate a plan. They think, they plan that, we will send them to a place. We'll build a really far away place. We'll build a very big palace. Yeah. And then they send them to Varnavrat. And Varnavrat, they build a big Lakshagra, basically, palace, which is made up of all inflammable material. मतलब जिससे वो पटाखे का material, they build the entire palace with that material, so that, थोड़ा सा आग लग जाता है, the entire thing will catch fire. Yeah. So Pandavas, now Pandavas individuals did not have had choice. So then Pandavas and his uh, Kunti Maharani, they go there. Now, Vidura knows that, there is some trick here. So Vidura knows that, Duryodhana is going to burn that palace, and he wants Pandavas to die. So Vidura, what he does is, while the construction of this, this Lakshagra was going on, he ensures that there is a nice tunnel which is built. And he ensures that, there is a nice escape for the Pandavas. Yeah, while going Pandavas, Vidura indicates Pandavas that, about this tunnel. Now Pandavas go and stay there. One night, Vidura, this Pandavas only, everyone was drunk and all. Pandavas only lit the entire thing in fire, and then they escape. You see this picture? They are all escaping. Yeah, because of Krishna's mercy, they all could escape. And Duryodhana and all, they not knew.
Why did they
Hold on. I'll take your questions. So they did not know that, Duryodhana did not know that Pandavas are alive. They thought that everyone has died. All the Pandavas, Kunti Maharani, everyone has died. Yeah. So now they were very happy. Everyone has died. But what happens is, later on, Pandavas, they are on their way to this Draupadi. They happen to go to Draupadi's Swayamvar, and there they actually disguise themselves as Brahmins. And in Draupadi's Swayamvar, Duryodhan is there, everyone is there. And somehow Duryodhan was not able to, so the Draupadi Swayamvar mein, basically, there was this fish type, moving fish, which was there on the ceiling, and you had to really look at the reflection of the fish down in the water. Looking at looking in the water, you have to shoot an arrow. Yeah. No one could do it, but Arjuna could do it. Yeah. And Karna was also there. Karna was as expert as Arjuna. But Draupadi said, I do not want to marry a Sutaputra. Yeah. So basically, son of a charioteer. Now, Karna was not a son of a charioteer. He did not know. Karna was Kunti's son before her marriage. Yeah. But then she said, no, I do not want to marry. And Karna also did not. So Karna, because of that, Karna had a lot of grudges against Pandavas. And that point in time, Arjuna wins Draupadi. And Draupadi also wanted to, marry Arjuna. So then, they bring her to home, and then, Kunti Maharani was doing something in the kitchen, and then they asked her, they told Kunti Maharani, see that we've got something. And she said, okay, aap paanchon mein, you divide it amongst 5 of you. And then all they were shocked that, how can this is a bride, and how can we divide this bride amongst 5 of us? So then, and then the mother of the word has to be kept. So like this, Draupadi had 5 husbands. Yeah. So eventually, Draupadi was won by Arjuna, but eventually she had 5 husbands. So now, what happened is, now the Pandavas' identity was revealed. All Pandavas came back. Now there was all the discussion going on. that Pandavas should be given back their kingdom. So then Dhritarashtra tells that at least give them, Bhishma says that at least give them half of the kingdom. So then what happens is, फिर एक से एकदम से जो गंदा गंदा जगह होता है, right, एकदम, which is a complete barren land wherein no crops will grow, nothing will grow, like that, that barren land which will, no one will stay there, that barren land is handed over to Pandavas, that is Khandaprastha. Yeah, so Khandaprastha is given to the Pandavas. Now, when a big story of Khandaprastha, but long story short is that Pandavas, they go there, and Maya Danav. Okay, so Maya Danav built, it's a very nice Mayavi palace. Okay, Mayavi, a mystical palace for this Pandavas. Yeah, so mystical palace means everything, few pillars and all that made of jewels, floors made of jewels and all, jewels, gems and all, and it is all Mayavi.
Mataji, was it an illusionary palace?
Not illusionary palace, but say it's something like on the floor, you think it is a floor, but actually it is water. You think it is water, but it is actually floor. Something of that sort. So it is, so many things which you think it is something, but it is actually something different thing. Like that, total Mayavi palace he had built. And then this Pandavas, they invite them to this palace. And now looking at this wonderful palace, he said, what is this? Such a beautiful palace. And then again, jealousy of Duryodhan increases much. Yeah. So then he tells his Shakuni Mama, we have to do something. I'm like pissed off with this Pandavas. So then Shakuni Mama says, let us have a dice match. Yeah. And in this dice match, we will make Pandavas do everything. We will take everything from them and we will put them on the streets. Yeah. उनके पास कुछ भी नहीं रहेगा. Now, Dhritarashtra, he says that, Pandavas will not agree for the dice match because it is gambling. Pandavas will not agree. So, they tell it through Dhritarashtra, their uncle, because if their uncle tells them, they will not say no. So, Dhritarashtra then tells Pandavas that, why don't you have a dice match with the Kauravas? And because Dhritarashtra said, Pandavas agree. And in this dice match, all the cunning tricks are played by Shakuni.
Pandava father's name. Pandavas.
All these cunning tricks are played by this one.
Mataji, Duryodhana puts a lizard in.
So what happens is, and in this dice match, they lose everything. They lose their palace, they lose their kingdom. Everything is lost in this dice match. And slowly, अभी कुछ भी नहीं बचा. So then they also bet for his, Yudhishthir bets his brothers. He loses his brothers become slaves. Then he bets himself. He loses himself also. He also becomes slaves. Then he says, we have nothing. So then Duryodhana and Dushasana and Karna says, you still have something. You have your wife Draupadi. Bring her in the. He said, hold on, Dibha. I'll come to you. So he says, you still have your wife. So he said, no, we cannot bring our wife. We cannot bet our wife. So he said, no, you are slaves. Now you have no right over your wife. And then they drag Draupadi with her hair. Dushasana drags Draupadi with her hair. And in the entire assembly, just imagine, in that big, huge assembly, when Dhritarashtra is sitting, all Dronacharya is sitting, Kripacharya is sitting, all the eminent ministers are sitting. Yeah, she's the queen. She's the queen of the entire world because that is Bharat Varsha, the entire earth. Yeah, Hastinapur was the capital of the entire earth. It is called Bharat Varsha. अभी इंडिया छोटा लगता है लेकिन तभी नहीं था तभी entire world was Bharatvarsha. And that point in time she was dragged into the assembly and she was praying. She had 5 powerful husbands, but none of her husbands could do anything. Yeah, and she was begging to Bhishma, she was begging the Dhritarashtra, how can the queen of the world, they wanted to disrobe her, they wanted to see her naked. And she was begging that, please, how can you do this? Please don't do this to me. But no one listened. And then, Dushasana was ordered, pull out her sari. And she was trying to hold it herself. She was trying to hold it with her 2 hands. She was trying to hold it in her mouth. Nothing she could do, she could not prevent. And then she realized, now I have to take help of Krishna. She just raised her hands and she said, oh Govinda, oh Madhusudan, oh Keshava, oh Madhava, please help me. And at that point in time, Krishna came to her rescue. And Krishna supplied her unlimited cloth. Unlimited cloth Krishna supplied her to prevent her chastity, yeah, to prevent her, from being disgraced in the assembly. And then Dushasan pulling the sari, pulling the sari, pulling the sari, pulling the sari, and Krishna was supplying unlimited sari. Yeah? And this is how, then he got tired, and this is how Draupadi was saved. Yeah? And eventually, because they lost everything, they had to go they had to go to the Vanvas for 13 years and 1 year of Ajnatavas. So then in that, so 13 years they
Mataji, I
stayed in
have
the
a
forest.
question.
Raise your hand, bit. I'll complete the story. It is about to end. Yeah. So then they had, though 12 years, 12, 13 years, they did, it was 12 years, 13 years, whatever. They were there in the forest, and 1 year was Adnyatavas. Adnyatavas means they should disguise themselves into something different, and if someone recognizes them, that ye Bhima hai, ye Yudhishthir hai, then again they will have to go for the 12, 13 years of forest. So, Vanvas. So then they disguise, so Bhima, disguised as a cook, Arjuna disguised as a ब्रजवल्लभी क्या कहते हैं उसको युनक teaching Uttara to dance. Yudhishthir became advisor to the king. Like that, they all disguised themselves, yeah. And then they 1 year, the entire they spent like this, and they completed their vanvas. They came back to the Dhritarashtra to ask for kingdom. Dhritarashtra said, Duryodhana said, nothing giving. I'm not going to give you the kingdom. And then Pandavas were thinking, what do we do? So then Krishna said, war is imminent. We have to do a war against them. Yeah. So now war. Why war? Because they were all unjust people. Dhritarashtra had a lot of affection towards Duryodhan, and they were all unjust people. Just think that giving the entire rule of the entire earth to a person who wants to disrobe a queen in the entire assembly when all the elders are sitting. What type of person can that be? So Krishna says, they are all adharmic, the war is imminent. But before the war, let me give one chance to Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. If they don't agree, war is imminent. We are going to wage a war with them. So Krishna goes with a peace proposal to Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra. When Duryodhan knows that Krishna has come with a peace proposal, he thinks Krishna is an ordinary man, and I will catch him and I will put him into prison. When Duryodhan is about to, he just makes a plan that that prison will come from the top, and he will catch him. He will tell his guards, and he'll put him into the prison. When Krishna was in the assembly hall, yeah, when Krishna was telling Dhritarashtra that please don't do it. This is your last chance. Just give 5 villages to Pandavas, and Pandavas will be happy. Dhritarashtra said, nothing doing. Duryodhan said, nothing doing. I will not give even a land which will fit on the tip of a needle. Then Duryodhan immediately orders, catch Krishna. As soon as he orders to catch Krishna, Krishna, expands, and so much light is there, so much bright light is there, no one could see anything. Duryodhan could see nothing, anyone couldn't see anything. But Dhritarashtra, at that point in time, he could see his Vishwaroop Darshan. He understood that he is not an ordinary being, he is Krishna. And at this point in time, he should agree. And if he doesn't agree, then all his sons will be killed. But Dhritarashtra was so much blind in, Putra Prem. He still did not, so many times Krishna told him, whatever you're doing is wrong. Vidura told him through Vidura so many times, but Dhritarashtra did not listen. And then eventually the war was decided here. So then when the war was decided, you don't know who will be on Krishna will be on whose side. That was to decide, yeah. And Narayani Sena, Krishna had a very huge Narayani Sena. And they were thinking that who will get this Narayani Sena? So the Duryodhan and Arjuna, they both go to Krishna. And Krishna by that point in time was sleeping. When he gets both of them were sitting. So Arjuna was sitting at the feet of Krishna, and Duryodhan was sitting at the head of Krishna. So Krishna, after he gets up, Arjuna, then he sees Arjuna, and he is very happy to see Arjuna. Then he sees Duryodhan, okay? Then he asks him, what do you want? Yeah, why have you come? So, but I will first give chance to Arjuna. What do you want in the war from me? So Arjuna says, Krishna, I just want you. And Duryodhana is so happy. What I'm going to do with this useless Krishna? Anyway, is not going to hold any weapon in the hand. So I do not want Krishna. I want his big Narayani Sena, so I will kill all the Pandavas. So Duryodhana said, hey, I'm happy with Narayani Sena. I don't need, I mean, he doesn't say that, I don't need you. I'm happy with Narayani Sena. So please give me the Narayani Sena. So Duryodhana takes the control of entire Narayani Sena, and he is with Krishna. So Duryodhana, Krishna asked Arjuna, I have a huge Narayani Sena, and I told you I am not going to lift a weapon also in the war. Why do you want to be in the war? वैसे भी मैं क्या करने वाला हूँ? So then he says that no, Krishna, I know wherever you are there, victory will be there. Yeah. So we just want you. We do not want your Sena. Your presence itself means victory. So wherever you are there, victory will be there. So then, this is how you upset. Yeah. Now the war is about to begin. Yeah. The war is about to begin. All the kings and kings of the entire world, of the entire earth, have got, some are on the part of Pandavas and some are on the part of Kauravas. Yeah, Kauravas is Duryodhana army, and here is the Pandavas. Yeah, they have arrived on the battlefield, and now on the battlefield, everyone is now, charged to fight a war against each other. So here this, the Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 starts. Yeah. Now, Dhritarashtra cannot go on the war field. Everyone is there on the war field, but Dhritarashtra cannot go on the war field. So Vyasadeva, he tells, before the war, he asked Dhritarashtra, see, I will give you, see, you cannot go on the war field. I will give you, a divine vision with which you will be able to see the war field, whatever is happening on the war field. So Dhritarashtra knew, see, Krishna is there on their side. It is very difficult for my children to win. And all my children, it is most likely that all my children will get killed in this war. So I do not want to see my children dying with my eyes. So he says, see, my assistant, my charioteer, Sanjaya is there. If you can just give this divine eyes to Sanjaya, Sanjaya will see the war and he will tell me whatever is happening in the war. So Sanjaya gets divine eyes to see the entire war. So it is like a screen in front of him. Yeah. Like a TV screen. He sees the entire screen, and in this, he can see the war. Yeah. So then now everyone has arrived on the field to fight the war. Okay. Now that is going. So now on this first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Kurvata Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjaya, everyone has arrived on the battlefield. Please tell me, what my sons, yeah, Kauravas, and what are Pandu's sons doing there? And the battlefield is called Dharma Kshetra. Yeah, on that battlefield, many sages have performed many sacrifices, and mostly Krishna is there. So he was asking this question. He was very scared. He was very doubtful. He was very fearful that कि बहुत मुश्किल है मेरे बच्चों का जीतना. It is very difficult for my children to win the war. Yeah, but it is still my children. So in spite of Krishna telling him n number of times that please abhi apni mati sudro. Yeah, still Dhritarashtra did not understand. Yeah. In the end, we will chant the shlokas. I will just move ahead. Yeah. So then, yeah. So now what happens is everyone has assembled on the battlefield. Yeah. Now, Duryodhan, before the war is getting started, Duryodhan is looking at his entire Sena. Yeah, he's looking at his entire Sena, and he goes to Dronacharya. Yeah, he is going to Dronacharya. Now Bhishma is the chief of Duryodhan's Sena, Bhishma Deva, and now he is going to Dronacharya. Now Dronacharya had actually, you saw, right? Dronacharya was teacher of Pandavas also, and he was teacher of Kauravas also. Now Pandavas, they were very nice children. So any which way, Dronacharya had a lot of affection towards Pandavas. Yeah. Now Duryodhan, was a little skeptical. He thought that Dronacharya might have a little affection towards Pandavas, so he might not give his best in the war. Yeah. So he wanted, to instigate and to make Dronacharya a little angry. Yeah. But at the same time, he wanted, to wanted him to support Bhishma. Yeah. So he says, "Oh my teacher." Oh, now listen carefully. Yeah. Now Duryodhana is saying, "Oh my teacher, behold the great army of the son of Pandus, so expertly arranged by your intelligent son of Drupad." Drupad is the brother of Draupadi. Now Drupad also was he took a shiksha from Dronacharya only. So he's saying, "See your." So इनका जो पांडवास का जो chief था, that was Drupad. So even everyone was working under supervision of Arjuna. Still, Drupad was the chief of all of them. Yeah. So he's saying, look, my dear teacher. Yeah. So then he says, here, then he says in our army, he says here in this army, there are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yudhana, Virat, and Drupad. Yeah. So now the Duryodhana is internally very fear, he's sort of scared. And he's just seeing the Pandavas army and he's pointing out at Dronacharya and he is trying to instigate anger in the minds of uh, Dronacharya. So he's just saying that उनके इसमें देखो ये है और हमारे इसमें देखो ये है. But he says, but for your information, O best of Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. Now anyway, it was Dronacharya knew. Duryodhana knew that Dronacharya knows कि उसके इसमें कौन है. But still, he wanted Dronacharya to, ensure that Dronacharya doesn't become biased. So he says that in my army, there are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwathama, who is son of Dronacharya, Vikarna, and son of Somadatta, or Bhurishwara, who are always victorious in battle. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. The individual knows that everyone is going to die in this battle. Yeah. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. But he says, at the same time, our strength, Vishwadev was Atirathi. He could fight millions, n number of people at the same time. ऐसे नहीं कि 2-4 से fight कर लिया, 10,000 से fight कर लिया. He could fight n number of people at the same time. Yeah. So he was saying, our strength is immeasurable and perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma. Whereas the Pandavas, they are carefully protected by Bhima. Now he is comparing Bhishma with Bhima, okay? And Bhima's power is limited. उसके पास ज्यादा पावर नहीं है. Bhima's power is limited. But at the same time, उसके मन में ना ये fear था कि भीष्मदेव को भी भीष्मदेव also loves Pandavas a lot. So and he has a lot of affection for Arjuna. So Bhishmadev, even at the battlefield, he can just get distracted or he can just get biased towards the Pandavas. Yeah. So he says that you must all give your full support to grandfather Bhishma and stand at your respective points of the entrance into the phalanx of the army. Yeah, because kya hua? So he wanted that, kabhi bhi Bhishma Dev, whenever if he gets distracted or he gets little diverted towards, Pandavas and they become little attached to Pandavas, immediately you should be alert. He's not saying that directly, but he's saying you should give full, support to Bhishma. So if Bhishma becomes mentally weak and he gets attracted towards Pandavas, you should be there to fight with the Pandava army. Yeah. So there are many heroes who are prepared to lay down their life for myself and they're equipped with all the weapons, all kinds of weapons and expert in their military science. Yeah. Now Duryodhana is talking about everyone there. He's talking about everyone there. One person he is not talking about. He spoke about Arjuna, he spoke about all the Pandavas, he spoke about all the different main kings in the Pandava army. But one person he doesn't speak, and he doesn't speak about Krishna. He thinks this useless Krishna is anyways going to be the charioteer of Arjuna, and he is not going to hold a weapon. So anyway, there is no point in talking about Krishna. Yeah. So he misses the point. So Duryodhana misses the main point. He misses Krishna. Yeah. So Duryodhana is very materialistic. He doesn't think about, if Krishna is not there, he's not going to win. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, he blew his counsel and the war was about to begin. And the war begins with blowing of
Hare Krishna
conch shells.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
The
Hare
war begins with blowing of conch shells. So Bhishma there, he blew his conch shell. And on the other side, Krishna and Arjuna, they blew their own conch shell, right? So Panchajanya,
Mataji.
Divya, can you please be on mute, beta? I'll come to you. Yeah. So then he blew his conch shell. Panchajanya Rishikesha, वो देखा ना हमने? बाद में we'll come to that. So he blew his conch shell, Panchajanya. Arjun blew his conch shell. और पूरा पूरा शंख बज रहा है, okay? पूरे battlefield पे अच्छे से शंख बज रहा है. और जब भी इनका शंख बजता है, धृतराष्ट्र अपना और पांडवा का शंख बजता है, the Pandava शंख, they were vibrating in the sky and the earth, and it shattered the hearts of Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra. इतना इतना वैलियंट था वो शंख, इतना जोर से वो शंख बजा कि धृतराष्ट्र और उनके सारे बच्चों को ऐसा लगा कि बाप रे, ऐसे डर गए वो. They were got very scared hearing those. Yeah. Now what happens is, yeah, now the suns are blown. Yeah, the councils are blown. War is about to begin. Yeah. And that point in time, Arjuna tells, yeah, everyone is ready to shoot the arrows. That point in time, Arjuna says, "O infallible one." Krishna is a charioteer. And now, actually, Krishna actually takes a very lower position of being a charioteer. So so Krishna ideally should be in the chariot, and Arjuna should be, I mean, charioteer is like a driver, right? And how would you tell the driver, "Arey right में लो, अरे left में लो, अरे आगे लो," ऐसे थोड़ी बताओगे. With his knees, he will, push the back of the charioteer. If he push on the right side, he will take on the right. With the knee, if he pushes on the left side, the chariot will go right. If he pushes in between, in the center, the chariot will go straight. Like that with the knee. No, just see, the Lord of the universe, yeah, Krishna, yeah, he is taking a role of a charioteer, and Arjuna has to tell him with his knees, legs, कि right में जाओ कि left में जाओ. Yeah, so Krishna takes such a um, small position. Yeah. So now, look, Arjuna tells to Krishna, Krishna, I want to go in the center of the battlefield, and I want to see both the armies myself. Krishna says, Krishna is a charioteer. Yeah. Krishna is like a servant now to Arjuna. So Krishna has to listen whatever Arjuna says. Krishna immediately takes the chariot in the center of the battlefield. And everyone there, Duryodhana, now that they are wondering, the councils are blown, everything is done, and now what is this Arjuna doing? I mean, has he decided that he truce kar lete hain? Yeah, pata nahi kya hai, what is going on in his mind? Yeah. So then, Arjuna goes there. He takes them in the center and he looks at both the armies. He looks at his army and he looks at the army of the Pandavas. Yeah. And now at the Kauravas. And he looks at the army of the Kauravas. He sees, his grandfather Bhishma is there. His grandfather who loved him so much. They all used to come and playing, and there used to be all these children used to be dirty, and Arjuna used to embrace his grandfather. And Arjuna's clothes used to be dirty, but grandfather used to embrace him. And Arjuna used to say, "Your clothes will get dirty." He used to say, "Arey, what is there? Come and embrace me." He remembered all those incidents, with his grandfather. And he said, "Now I am fighting against my grandfather, who had loved me so much. How can I fight against my grandfather? They will all get killed in this war, Krishna." So he said that, Dronacharya, who is my teacher, all this art which I have, this archery which I can, I'm expert at archery today. Everything my Dronacharya taught me. And now I'm going to fight against him and I'm going to kill him. And Kripacharya, again my guru, how can I kill him? And these are all my cousins. Duryodhana is my cousin. All his brothers are my cousins. And all this, people on the battlefield, they have their families at home. They have their wives at home. They have their children at home. And now just because I want the kingdom, I'm going to kill all of them. And Arjuna becomes very weak. He says, "No, Krishna, I cannot fight. I cannot fight." And his body starts shivering. He starts sweating. His bow and arrow, it falls from his hand. And he says, "Krishna, I don't want to fight." And then he says that my mouth is drying up and all. He gives all these things. And he says that Krishna, even if I say, even for the sake of discussion, say I win this entire kingdom, none of my relatives will be there. What is the point of enjoyment if none of my relatives are going to be alive and I get that kingdom? Yeah. And he says, and the sin that I will incur for killing all these people, all the sin will be on my head. And I don't know how many lifetimes I will have to spend to remove the sins from my head. I cannot fight Krishna. And he says, destruction of family tradition. All the family tradition which is there, because all these people will get killed in the war. Then their husbands will die. Their husbands will die. The women will be, they will not have any shelter. The children will not have any shelter. There will be no tradition left, family tradition left. Krishna, I cannot fight Krishna. So the chapter 1 ends here. In the next chapter, we are going to see what Krishna is going to tell Arjuna regarding all these questions which Arjuna asked. Okay. So here we come at the end of the chapter, and so if you want, maybe 5-10 minutes you can spend on reciting the shloka. But before we go there, I see a few hands raised. Let us see what questions you have. Yes, Chaitanya. 5 minutes for questions. Yes. Any questions?
Yes, Mataji, I had questions.
Yeah.
Like first is that why did Bhishma kidnap the daughters of King Kashi?
Because Vichitraveer would not be able to do that. Vichitraveer was not a very strong king, and kidnapping for Kshatriyas was part of the it was acceptable
So
tradition.
like
So
why didn't they directly married him to the daughter of Kashi,
maybe
King
there
Kashi?
was, maybe he would not. They might not be ready to marry or whatever. There could be some reason.
Okay, Mataji. And like secondly, I also wanted to ask that how did Pandu die?
Pandu actually had a curse that if he gets in touch with any woman, then he will die. And then Pandu got in touch with Madri, and because of that curse, he died.
Okay, Mataji. And like two more questions just. Throughout the Mahabharat war, where was like Vidura?
Vidura did not participate. Vidura went on a pilgrimage. Vidura went on different pilgrimage. He did not see the war.
Okay, Mataji. And one last question that Gandhari got 101 pots out of which the last pot had a daughter. But
Yeah.
throughout the Mahabharata, only the 100 sons of Gandhari have been showed. Then
Yeah.
what about the daughter?
Daughter was not maybe she was not discussed much in the entire Mahabharata. So not much known about her daughter.
Okay, Mataji.
Hmm.
And only last question, Mataji. Uh,
Okay.
Krishna always shows his Vishwaroop to only those who do not believe in him or dislike him or are against him. But Arjuna was a great devotee of the Lord himself. So why did Krishna showed his Vishwaroop to him?
Yeah. So Arjuna, we are going to cover that in the later chapter. But Arjuna believed Krishna was always God, and Arjuna knew that there was no doubt in minds of Arjuna. But Arjuna requested Krishna to show the Vishwaroop so that everyone else will believe that Krishna is not an ordinary person. And that is why Arjuna requested Krishna to show the Vishwaroop. And the Vishwaroop is not for devotees. Vishwaroop is for the people who should be fearful of Krishna, who are not pious people. But for devotees, Krishna is in two-handed form. So he
Okay,
comes
Mataji.
in loving father. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Good question, Chaitanya. Yes. Yes, Aishwarya.
Mataji, my mother's guru has said that Sanjay was there in Mahabharata till the 16th day when the Bhisham went fall down. Then he came back to Mahabharata. Then he came to Duryodhana, that Dhritarashtra.
No. Sanjaya was always in the palace with Dhritarashtra. That is mentioned in the scriptures. He was always there with, because otherwise, how will see? He did not go to the battlefield. Sanjay and Dhritarashtra both were in the palace.
Okay,
This
Mataji.
I can say confidently. Yeah.
Mataji,
One second, I'll come
Who
one by
was
one. Just raise your hand. Digitally raise your hand. I will come to everyone. Yeah. Yes, Anika. You have question, Anika?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, please ask.
What is Gandhari's last daughter's name?
I don't know her name, but I'll check and I'll tell you. If anyone knows, they can tell me, but I will have to check.
Question, ma'am.
Sorry?
I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, you told they blow the conch shells, no, ma'am?
Yeah.
Then when Arjuna came in the middle of both army, no, ma'am? Why did why didn't Kaurava try to attack on Arjuna?
Why did they not try to attack on Arjuna?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because they were confused that ideally the war should have begun. But that was a very unusual and a strange move. ऐसे कोई करेगा नहीं. तो वो भी सोच रहे कि इसको क्या हो गया, ऐसे वो अकेला क्यों आ रहा है, मतलब अगर आएंगे तो सभी लोग अटैक करेंगे. So they got a little confused, and that is why they did not attack. But that point in time, when they were in the center of the battlefield, time had stopped. So Krishna told time to stop, and no one knew what happened. So for everyone, it was like अभी तो मतलब अभी आ गया और अभी चला गया. But in that entire time, actually Krishna told the entire Bhagavad Gita to uh, Arjuna. So time had stopped. At one instant, they did not know what is happening, strange behavior, but uske baad time got stopped. Yeah?
Excuse me, Mataji.
One more question.
Yes.
Mataji,
Achha,
can I tell the last name, the daughter's name?
yes, you can tell.
Mataji, it was Dushala. She was
Dushala.
Dushala.
So Anika, Chaitanya found the name, it was Dushala. Thanks, Chaitanya. Okay? Okay.
Mataji,
I'll come one by one. Come on. Siddhi, raise your hand, beta. Raise your hand. I'll come to you. Yeah? Yes, Shreyasi, you have a question?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, my first question is that, why did the Pandavas burn that castle which was given by Duryodhan went to them by themselves?
Because any which ways they would have burnt it and they would have got unaware. They burnt it themselves so that now they know that they have to run out. So they burnt it and they ran out.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
And my second question is why Dronacharya and Bhishma were not at the side of Pandavas?
Because Bhishma had taken a vow that he will always be on the side of Hastinapur. And it was Krishna's wish also that Bhishma should be on the side of Pandavas, should be on the side of Kauravas. Dronacharya and Bhishma, it was Krishna's wish that they should be on the side of Kauravas.
Like
That
Bhishma,
they-
like Krishna told to Bhishma and
Yes.
Dronacharya to be
Yes.
on the side of
Yes.
Pandavas.
It was on Krishna's direction only that Bhishma was on the side. Bhishma was a devotee of Krishna, and Bhishma knew that Pandavas are going to win. Yeah, so Bhishma clearly knew that Pandavas were going to win. So it was Krishna's desire only. Yeah.
Mataji.
Okay.
Mataji,
I'll come to you. Trishika, raise your hand digitally. I'll come one by one. I will answer all the questions. Okay, raise your hand digitally so that I know. Yes, Abhinay.
Mataji, I have one more question.
Yes,
Acha, one
Mataji.
more question. One
Mataji,
second.
when you
एक सेकंड
Mataji,
श्रेयसी का लास्ट क्वेश्चन हो जाने दो एक सेकंड. हाँ, yes, श्रेयसी.
So, Mataji, when Bhishma knew that Pandavas were going to win, so why didn't he told Duryodhana that this all whatever he is doing is wrong?
He told so many times, any number of times he told, but just imagine, no, Krishna showed Vishwarup Darshan also to the Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra also knew. But see, our parents also tell us so many right things. Do we listen all the things? No, we listen conveniently, whatever we want to listen. Sometimes our parents tell, no, this is not good for you, not right for you, but still we won't do it. We will do it that way. So greed to have the kingdom. They thought कुछ भी होगा हम लोग जीत लेंगे that way.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Abhinay. Where did Abhinay disappear? Yes, Abhinay.
yes, Mataji. Mataji, when you discussed that Arjuna had said that uh, Arjuna said that in front of my eyes are all of my relatives and so much large army. So he said that after killing them, there will be sin on my head. And he said, how many life, I don't know how many lifetimes I have to pass to just to uh
Atone the sins.
get atone the sins. So Mataji, how did he know that he would take a extra life to atone his sins?
अभी कोई भी है ना, अभी इतने लोगों को मारेंगे तो फिर लाइफ टाइम भी लगेंगे ना. Because he was thinking that he is doing this war for his selfish motive. He thought that I am killing all these people for my selfish motive, which is I want to win the kingdom. And if that is for selfish motive, then of course he will incur sin. अभी एक एक आदमी को मारने की सजा फांसी है, तो दो इतने इतने लाखों 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 मारोगे तो जस्ट सोचो कि कितना कितना बड़ा सिन होगा वो. इवन इफ यू से कि फांसी है, फिर भी वन लाइफ टाइम में तो होगा नहीं ना, कितना लाइफ टाइम सहना पड़ेगा उसको. ही नोस ही इज अ रिलीजियस पर्सन, ही नो ही इज अ पायस किंग, ही इज अ राज ऋषि. Yeah, so that does this answer your question, Abhinay?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Sohan.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I have one question, which is that Krishna tells Bhagavad Gita, okay? Krishna
Sorry?
tells Bhagavad Gita,
Krishna said Bhagavad Gita, yes.
and Arjun hears,
Hmm.
and also virtually
Sanjaya.
Sanjay, yes.
Yeah.
But when Sanjay said, can it be added to um Dhritarashtra?
Can it be added Dhritarashtra? Sorry, I did not understand the last sentence.
I mean that Dhritarashtra was hearing from
Yes, Dhritarashtra was not hearing, Sanjay was narrating.
it
So
is
Sanjay was telling, कृष्णा ने अभी ये बोला, कृष्णा ने अभी ये बोला, कृष्णा ने अभी ये बोला, अर्जुना ने ये आंसर किया. That way. So Sanjay was telling Dhritarashtra whatever is happening in the battlefield, and Sanjay was also telling, well, whatever Krishna was saying, Sanjay was telling. Whatever Arjuna was saying, Sanjay was telling. That way.
okay.
Mataji, but time was stopped in that point in period,
But
right?
Sanjay, but Krishna gave this facility to Sanjay to hear. So only two people were hearing, Sanjay and Arjuna. And Sanjay at the same time gave a facility to narrate the same to Dhritarashtra.
And ma'am, what about Pandavas? They were not able to hear.
No, only Arjuna. Only Arjuna was able to hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Sanvi.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी.
Hare Krishna.
मेरा ये क्वेश्चन था कि इट इज सेड दैट अर्जुन एंड कृष्णा वर अवतार ऑफ नर एंड नारायण. सो डिड अर्जुन न्यू अबाउट दिस
Arjuna was not Narayan. Arjuna was any which was, eternal associate of Krishna. Krishna is Krishna. Yeah. So yes, but what was your question? Sorry, because you said Narayan, that is why I said that. So Narayan was again Vyasudev and Avatar of Arjuna, Avatar of Krishna.
My question was that it is said that Nar and Narayan were avatar of Arjun and Krishna were avatar of Nar Narayan. So did Arjun knew about this relation?
Arjun knew that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but Arjun was put into illusion. It like suddenly he forgot everything, and it was like he was asking questions on behalf of everyone, and questions also Krishna was only instigating him to put those questions in his mind. Like I'll give an example. Yashoda, Devaki, okay, for example, Devaki and Vasudev, they were parents of Krishna, right?
Yes.
And when Krishna appeared, he appeared in the four-handed form, and then he became a small child. And after he became a small child, Devaki, Vasudev, Yashoda, everyone, they thought that Krishna is like an ordinary child. And that is how they loved Krishna. Had it been so that Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj knew that no, he is a supreme personality of Godhead, will Yashoda tie Krishna with a rope?
No.
No. Because then she'll be, ah, you are Krishna. So I just have to pray you. I just have to worship you. Yeah. Will there be loving, one second, beta. Will there be loving relationship between like a mother and a child if she knows that is the supreme personality of Godhead? No.
No.
So same way, in this particular situation, like Yashoda Maya was put into, Yoga Maya. Same way, even here, uh, Arjuna was put into Maya and he forgot everything. And he forgot everything in the sense he did not remember and he was just asking questions on behalf of others.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question. Yes, Shakti.
Mataji, when was this Bhagavad Gita, between the 18 days, when was this Bhagavad Gita told to Arjuna by Krishna? Which day was it?
First day, before the
First day.
battle, before the battle began.
Okay, ma'am.
Wonderful, very nice. I'll come to you. Raise your hand, beta. I'll come one by one, beta. Raise your hand digitally so that I know, beta. Yes, Ashish and Adarsh.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
what? Hmm.
Ma'am, Karna supported to Kauravas that his original parents are Kunti and Surya Dev, but why did he support it to Kauravas?
Because Kunti Maharani, so actually what happens is that the Karna is the prince. But what he was brought up as a charioteer's son. So he never got the privilege of living like a prince. Okay. Other if Karna would have been there, Karna would have become the king. But he always, was always cursed by people. He always was treated like a son of a driver, of a son of a charioteer when he was actually a prince. And Kunti never revealed that. Kunti revealed that just before the war. Kunti revealed just before the war, you are my eldest son, so you should not go to Duryodhan. Then Karna said, बॉस इतने साल तक मैं था, इतने साल तक मुझे आपने बताया नहीं, अभी वॉर होने जा रहा है, and now you need me, and that is now you're telling me. So that is what Karna said, no, Duryodhan has always been supportive to me. Duryodhan was my best friend, and Duryodhan has always taken good care of me. So I will not come to you. That is why Karna said, I will not be on the Pandava side.
Ma'am, Sri Krishna told that his original parents are Surya Dev
Yeah.
and but
Yes.
he supported to Kauravas, ma'am.
Yes.
If he supported Pandavas, means he could become the prince, ma'am.
Yes. He should have done that. So if you know that something is wrong, you should not be supporting wrong. So Duryodhana was not a good person, but still he supported. And that was wrong. You should always be on the side of the right. Yeah? Yes.
Mataji,
Okay, one second. What did this happen? 1 second. How did this got open? Now how do I close it? Yeah. Yes. Yes, Yugandhara.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Why Duryodhan was not support? Why Duryodhan was not taken the support of Krishna?
He thought Krishna is an ordinary person. He thought Krishna is a useless person. So, see, many of our friends also will say, why are you studying Bhagavad Gita? What is there in that? Yeah? This is not the age to study Bhagavad Gita, but you know, it is Krishna. It is the supreme knowledge. And Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Yeah? So, wherever there is Krishna, success is there. And that is why Yogendra is studying this. Yeah, but others, many of your friends will not study also Bhagavad Gita. Even if you tell them, there is a Bhagavad Gita class, please come and learn this knowledge. The friends will not come. Like that, Duryodhan was very greedy. He was very selfish. Yeah, and he was so greedy that he couldn't see anything other than him. And he thought, Krishna, I can control myself. Who is this Krishna who is going to control? So he thought Krishna is an ordinary person. And that is why, in spite of everyone telling him, don't take panga with Krishna, he still did not listen. Yeah, so that is how it is. Is your question answered, Yugandhara?
Dhanyavad Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Dhanyavad
beta.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Aradhya. Long time.
Mataji.
Yes, Aradhya. I can't hear you if you're speaking. Okay, by the time Aradhya mic works, yes, Swara Guru Prasad.
Mataji, why was Duryodhan so greedy and jealous?
What can we do? There are so many bad people on the earth. We just have to tolerate.
And Mataji, the first pot, the first flesh, a lump of flesh pot that was hatched, that was Duryodhan.
Yes. And that is why he is the eldest son.
That's why, because that's why bad omens were coming. That he was.
Yeah, I mean, the bad omens were coming because Duryodhana was about to take birth. And he was not a good person. So all the bad omens were coming. Yeah. Okay, good. Yes, Aradhya, if your mic works, then let me know. Meanwhile, we'll go to Riddhi. Yes, Riddhi.
Mataji.
Hold on, Swara. Hold on. You raise your hand. We'll come to you. Yes, Riddhi.
Mataji, why Draupadi and Arjuna is also known as Krishna? It is mentioned
Sharvil,
that
I'll come to you.
Draupadi's one of the name is Krishna.
So what is your question?
No, Mataji. It is said that Arjuna and Draupadi's another name is also Krishna.
So we keep Sham name, we keep Krishna name, we keep so many names of Krishna as our children's names. So like that only. Just like that, because but we say Krishna Das, we say Sam Das. Okay, so we attach Das, that we are servant of them. Now we give all the names and all that, but yeah, they're called like that, so it doesn't matter. But they're called differently because they are serving Krishna that way.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. Yes, Sharvil, I saw your name on the chat. Question on the chat.
Mataji, what is the meaning of
Yeah.
quivering?
Quivering and trembling. I cannot. Sweating.
Handle.
Yeah.
Cannot handle it.
Yeah, मतलब sweating होता है. कैसे मैं करूँ? ऐसा. So you are like, in deep grief. In deep grief, you will show different symptoms. Someone will cry, someone will sweat, someone will faint, like that. You will show different symptoms that way. Okay? Yes, Aradhya Gupta, is your mic working?
Mataji, I have another question.
Yes, Shakti.
Mataji, why did Krishna choose to be a chariot other than a warrior?
So Krishna said, in this war, I will not pick up any weapons. So that is why he said, okay, I will not participate in the war. So only thing left with me is, okay, if you want any service from me. So then Arjuna asked Krishna, so the charioteer actually in the war, he plays a very important role for the person who is there in the chariot.
Mataji.
Because, hold on, sir. Because, he is the one main driver and he is the protector also. And he knew that, and Krishna knew, Arjuna knew, if Krishna is going to be there with me, no one can, touch me. See, even in the war, once upon a time, there was this war, I think was going on with Bhishma or Karna. I don't remember exactly. I think it was with Karna. And fierce fight was going on with Karna. And then sometimes, uh, Krishna used to push the chariot in the earth, so that Arjuna got saved many times. Arjuna got saved from that. So like that, Krishna actually the role of the charioteer. I mean, because it's Krishna, he could put it in the earth, but the role of a charioteer is very very important for the person who is in the chariot. And Krishna said, yes, I'm ready to take menial service because Arjuna is my devotee and Arjuna is my friend. And for my devotees, I will do anything. So like devotees are eager to serve Krishna, Krishna is also eager to serve his devotees. And Krishna did not mind to take that menial position of becoming a charioteer of Krishna.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. Yes, Swara Guru Prasad. Aradhya,
Mataji, is
your mic is still not working. I'm not able to hear you, beta. Yes.
Mataji,
Yeah.
is there quiz today?
No quiz today. Right question at right time. Okay. So thank you very much. We will end our session here. And it was very nice to hear such lovely questions from you.
Mataji, will there
So
be quiz
Mataji, I
next
have a
class?
question.
no, hold on. Listen, I am going to give you a test. Yeah, I would like to ask Krishna is the name of.
Ma'am, I can tell last 1, 2, 3 slokas.
Yeah. Yes, we'll do that. Okay, hold on. Just hold on. Yes. After we will take it. So just hold on. Yeah. So tomorrow, by the evening, I will send you the list of questions. Please have your Bhagavad Gita book ready with you. By the end of next, it is going to be simple questions. So my humble request to each one of you is please do that. 25 simple questions hai. Bhagavad Gita dekho, follow, and then attempt it. Okay, it's not going to be difficult, but it will be interesting. It will be very interesting for all of you to do it. So please do it. Only 18 tests will be there. Okay, over the entire 6 months, and 3 tests, 1 test 1 week. Yeah, so it's going to be a wonderful experience. Please do that very sincerely, and see you next week.
Mataji,